Hey guys, this video is by request. So here's some hot tips for you as you prepare your rough draft. First, make sure that you take a look at the documents on Blackboard. So one of those documents talks about the parameters of the assignment. The most important ones for you to understand are that it's got to be 1,200 to 1,500 words, more or less, and you'll lose points. Your essay needs to be done in APA style, so title page, citations, references. If it's not done in APA style, you'll lose a lot of points. And you need to be using 5 or more good sources. We did that source evaluation assignment in class, so you know what CRAT means. And so we want at least 5 good sources. If your essay has no sources, it's not a research paper and it can't be accepted for this assignment. At least one of those sources should be from the library databases. If you manage to do the assignment without using something from the database, don't panic. You might lose some marks if your sources are not good sources. If you've used, try to avoid using too many of the same source, like 5 different Canadian Encyclopedia articles. That's not showing great research, even if those sources are helping you build that essay, finding the information that you need, that's okay. But we want you to kind of go beyond just some, kind of easy internet sources or beyond the ones that I've just provided for you. Although certainly, if you're having trouble supporting a point, take a look at the sources that are available for you in the textbook, because I put lots of links in there that I hope will help you find the information that you need. Remember that plagiarism is an automatic 0 score. If you use phrases or sentences word for word from a source and you don't put them in quotation marks, that's plagiarism, even if you cite them, because the citation just means that you've taken an idea. If you don't put those words in quotation marks, you've stolen the words. You're not giving credit to the author for the actual words. So please be very careful about that. Make sure if you have a phrase or a complete sentence that you are using word for word, just put quotation marks around it. All right, so titles. A lot of people have great titles. Remember that the title should state the topic of your essay, not your assignment name. And it shouldn't be a complete sentence, it should be a phrase. And you want to capitalize all of the main words. So the first word and any nouns, verbs, adjectives, adverbs in the title should start with a capital letter. All right, supporting paragraphs. Here's where it gets tricky, right? And we've talked a lot about introductory paragraphs, so I'm not going to talk about those in this video. If you need more help with the introductory paragraph, come and see me, because I've seen your intro paragraph twice now. Maybe you need a one-to-one with me or a one-to-one with the Writing Center to help you out. So let's assume that you've got your title page, you've got your introductory paragraph, now you're working on your supporting paragraphs. So the topic sentence introduces the general topic of the paragraph. So it shouldn't require a citation, because really you're just telling your reader what you're about to tell them. Then you're going to have a main idea statement, and so this should be one sentence, which again probably doesn't need to be cited. You're just telling your reader what you're going to tell them. Then you give your details, the evidence and support and explanation, which is cited. So those details should be specific facts, examples, expert opinions. You want to avoid vague and unsubstantiated statements. So you want to avoid anything that doesn't require a citation, because if you have an entire paragraph that has no citations, your statements are unsubstantiated. That means that it's not backed up by research, and it's not showing good quality academic level research if you can't find information to support your points. So if you're struggling to find information to support your points, talk to the friendly folks at the library. They are research experts. They can help you out, or ask me for some help. I have noticed that some people are kind of struggling to support the idea of language and culture. And what's happening is that a lot of people are giving me these really vague, general, repetitive statements. Culture and language are connected. You can't have language without culture. You need language and culture together, but you're not really proving that to me. So I have some suggestions for you. Just a second. So one of my favorite TED Talks in the world is this one, How Language Shapes the Way We Think. So in this TED Talk, this woman is explaining how language affects our worldview. It affects how we see the world. So that's talking about culture. So you might find she's not talking specifically about Indigenous languages here, but you may be able to find some information in here that would be helpful for you. There's also this blog that I really like by this person named Arthur Haynes, Why I'm Learning an Indigenous Language. And he talks about, again, how Indigenous languages are very connected to the land, and how speaking an Indigenous language has enabled him to see the land, the world around him differently. So if you're struggling to kind of make that connection with language and culture, this might be a way to do it. The other thing is, a lot of people have said, kind of generally, language is really important for culture, like for cultural traditions. Give me an example of a place where language and culture are deeply connected. Like show me, is it important for a specific dance or a specific time of year or a specific activity? So you want to find information about that that's really specific. That's really what I'm trying to get you to, that you want to avoid just really vague statements. You need proof. Explain it to me. Okay, let me go back. I'll show you a couple of examples here. And then, your concluding sentence should be summarizing the main point of your paragraph. So your concluding sentence, don't introduce your next paragraph. It's really tricky to do that well. With your concluding sentence, just kind of remind me about what you just told me. So let's take a look at an example. So this is the essay about taxing sugar beverages. Just like we tax cigarettes and alcohol. So this person is arguing that we should put a big tax on these things. And so you can take a look at the topic sentence here. In addition to reducing the burden on the healthcare system, so that must have been the previous paragraph. The previous paragraph must have talked about how consumption of these beverages is a problem in healthcare, and that if we tax them, fewer people will drink them, and then we'll have to spend less money on healthcare. So that was the previous paragraph. And then this paragraph is talking about how the tax not only will save us money, it's going to make us money. It's going to make us tax revenue. And so then she's really talking about how, why is that important to make tax money? And so she's got some main ideas here. So the first main idea is that the revenue could be used to enhance nutrition education in schools. So that's a main idea. And then she gives a quote from an expert here, and then kind of creates this chain of reasoning to say, well, these programs would teach children to choose healthier options. So that's why this is important. And then a further chain of reasoning is to say, then, parents will become more informed, and that will be good. So this main idea here, these taxes can be used for media campaigns to promote awareness. So really I should have, this is the main idea, enhancing nutrition, using it in media campaigns, and also subsidies to support healthier options. So notice that these main idea statements aren't cited, that these are the author's kind of, or the writer's ideas, and then she provides citations for those specific details afterwards. So certainly you can pause this video and read over this paragraph. I have another example for you. But before I go to the other example, I just want to show you the concluding sentences here. If people are educated about the dangers and have better options, they have a better chance of making healthy choices. So that kind of summarizes some of what she said, and then clearly taxing the SSB and using that new revenue to educate the public and to subsidize can result in exponentially greater health benefits. So this last sentence summarizes everything that she said in this paragraph. She doesn't suggest what she's saying in the next paragraph. She just summarizes what she said here. And that's a great way to do a conclusion. Why can't I move forward? There. So here's another essay for you. This is my chickens essay. And you can, the outline for this essay is posted on Blackboard. So you can take a look at the outline and then take a look at the final essay and kind of compare and see how the writer made those connections. So again, you can see we have a topic sentence here, another great reason. So this is a very simple transition. I'm not really referring specifically to the previous paragraph, but I'm just saying, I'm telling you one more thing. And I'm saying my topic here is about being environmentally friendly. And I have just two main ideas for this paragraph. First, chickens can recycle food. That's my main idea statement. And then I give some specific details. And then I say, secondly, the chickens create compost. That's my second idea. And then I give my details. So notice how the topic sentence and the main idea statements are not cited. They're my words. And then I provide the details to support those main idea statements. And the details are cited. The only time I don't cite a detail is here I'm just making a logical cause effect, right? So Grover said that chickens eat this food scraps. And then, so I can logically say, if chickens eat my food scraps, then my food scraps don't go in the garbage, and so they don't go in the landfill. So I don't need to cite that because it's just a logical connection that anyone would be able to make. But it's important that you make those connections for your reader. Don't assume that your reader is going to connect the dots in your argument. If you have a cause-effect chain of reasoning argument, make sure you explain each step in the chain of reasoning. Okay, so again, feel free to to pause this and take a look at this more specifically. So direct quotes. You may have noticed in the previous paragraph, I did have some direct quotes. It's not wrong to use direct quotes. You just don't want to use them too often. And you should have a specific reason for using direct quotes. I have created in the textbook. Where are you, textbook? There it is. I've actually added to the direct quote chapter in the textbook. So there's a lot of additional information here. So if you're trying to use direct quotes and you're struggling with how to introduce them or maybe why to use them, please check out the textbook. I have given some extra ideas here for verbs and some different ways that you can introduce a quote without creating a run-on sentence. So you can use according to. And if you have trouble with grammar, make sure you check out this box, because I've noticed that some people struggle introducing quotes and they're making a grammar mistake when they do that. So I have some examples here to help you kind of figure that out. So hopefully you find that helpful. Okay, let's see. Next up, right, so the other important thing to remember about direct quotes is it should be like this cheesy sandwich here. Make sure you use quoted direct quotes, like quotation marks around what you're quoting. And then most importantly, well, that's most importantly, but second most important is then explain the quote. So don't just plug in a quote and assume that your reader is going to understand the significance of that quote. You need to explain the quote to your reader. You need to explain, paraphrase it, say in other words, and then explain the quote so that your reader can understand why it's significant to your argument. Okay, so concluding paragraphs, they're the last thing that the reader will read. So you want to pause me and try to figure out the fill in the blanks? All right, I'll just tell you. So you want to restate the thesis statement. You want to highlight the main points, and you want to leave the reader with a general thought about the topic. So you might issue a call to action. So tell the reader something that they should do. Maybe they should participate in learning an Indigenous language. Maybe they should write to their MP or their college school board and demand that languages are included. Or you can make a logical prediction based on the evidence presented. If we don't do something, cultures are going to suffer, the world will suffer. If we do something, what will happen? Will it help reconciliation? So you can make a prediction here. And probably your concluding paragraph shouldn't have any citations in it, because they shouldn't be introducing any new ideas or evidence. Here you should just be summarizing everything that you've said. And your final thought is just a logical statement based on the information that you've already given. So the other thing that you can do for your conclusion is kind of link it to your introduction. So if in your introduction you gave a bit of a story, you could finish the story in your conclusion. If you posed a question in your introduction, you might want to give the answer for that in your conclusion. So remember, it's like a hamburger, right? Top and bottom bun should kind of match and kind of bring everything together.